Live, ready to roll. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. It is me, Chavez, back with another player prop prize picks live stream for you. Prize picks is the main format that we talk about here. But we do go over a few other sites like Jock Market, Underdog. I mean, I'm totally open to wherever the value is. It's not always feasible to have, 10 different player prop sites out there on your phone, and it's a lot to track. But if there are a few that you like, you can definitely cross reference value. It does help build better slips. Prize Picks is not the only line out there. For instance, yesterday, played that Scotty Barnes 3-pointer prop, got taken off the board on Prize Picks, but was on Jock Market at 1.5. Or, excuse me, RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett was another 3-point prop. That was a popular one, got taken off, but it was on Jock Market. So if you're open to, having multiple accounts, nothing too crazy, nothing that would force you to call that 1-800-GAMBLER line. But yeah, it's helpful to have a few different books up, player prop sites up. That way you can just tackle all the value. Let's see. Morning ATM, morning Darrell. Nikki says, appreciate you, bro, but that sportsbook trick doesn't work. Players play the game based on their feelings. I guess. What sportsbook trick are you talking about? Did we go over something yesterday on the stream? I don't have too many tricks. Sometimes it feels like the players play based on whether or not they get the call. I think y'all know what that is. Sometimes it feels like they don't play the way they need to play because somebody said they shouldn't, and therefore they have a bad quarter or something. Yeah. Definitely see that in multiple ways where players should perform up to a certain level based off projections and odds because that's why they're there, and then they don't do it and it makes you scratch your head. And then other times we can have players come out of nowhere and perform well, like Jordan Hawkins dropping 10 threes in a game or something like that. Yeah, I feel you, Nikki. I feel you. That's where I was on Friday. I was so pissed off about those two plays that we talked about on the stream, Jalen Johnson and Derek White. Blowouts, man. Blowouts are a bitch. And you don't have any defense against blowouts. You can't predict them. You think you can, but there's no way to project and predict a blowout. Sometimes the books are just so off, saying the game has a 10, 12-point spread and it's the closest game on the books, and the opposite too. There is nothing wrong with taking a break either. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes you just got to give it a break. I mean, take a week off, take a couple of days off, take the weekend. The weekends are really good for taking a break, to be honest with you, because traditionally weekends are used to take a break from your work week, your Monday through Friday, job, if you have that type of format. And the weekends are there to kind of just, give you some of your personal time back. But sometimes player props and, DFS and sports betting, sometimes that feels like a full-time job. And if you're doing that 7 days a week and you've run into a cold streak, I mean, it's the same as saying, hey, I need to take a day off from work because I'm stressed, or I need to just break away from my coworkers because they're getting on my nerves. You just need that space. Same thing. Take a day off. Take 2 days off. Shit. Nothing's going to change when you get back. They're not going to change the whole format on you when you come back. I think that's a really good idea. It's good for your mental, but it's also good for your pocketbook, man, because you get in these modes where you're trying to chase slips, you're trying to chase plays, and before you know it, you're redepositing. It's a terrible feeling. So definitely 100% back that idea up of just taking a break for sure. Who we talking about? Killian. I didn't play his threes. when I went back to the board, I didn't see it, so I played his rebounds and assists. We'll get to a couple of slips that I played yesterday, and on Prizepicks, I didn't do too well on Jock Market. I guess I'll never learn. Domantas Sabonis just never goes under any of his props, regardless of how much juice is on the under. And Keegan Murray kind of screwed up my underdog slip, which was looking really good. Was looking really good. Took the over on took the under on an esports play. Took the under on Keegan Murray's points, and then I took the under on, I think, Goga Batadze rebounds. So 2 for 3 on that slip, but I needed all 3 to hit. But we'll get into we'll get into his I'm reading his comment. Yeah. We'll get into the slips. We'll recap the couple plays I talked about in yesterday's stream, although they were, kind of iffy, to be honest with you, just because hold on real quick. I need to grab my phone. Yeah. So by the time I did the live stream yesterday, there were only a couple plays on the board left from when I was going to do the video. Didn't get to do the video because plays got bumped. Trying to do that super early, and it doesn't always work out. But we did go over Anthony Simons. We did talk about Anthony Edwards, who had probably, has got to be like top 10 worst games of his career. And then De'Aaron Fox was a really, really good play on Jock Market. They discounted his points prop to 25. He went over that. So we'll talk about those plays. And then I got a couple plays that I like for today's slate. And then, as always, we'll open it up. We'll open it up to questions, player inquiries, such and such and such and such. So let's just get right to it. I hope everybody's doing well. Hit that like button on your way in. We got 7 viewers. We should have 7 likes. Like I always say, if you don't like the stream, or if you've had enough of it 10 minutes in, hit that like button twice. Hit it twice on the way out. That's my little secret. All right. I'd say what, let's go over, I want to talk about these slips that I played yesterday, and I want to share these because I'm pulling this up on the Prizepicks desktop app, which kind of sounds contradicting, but it looks pretty good on the screen. So I was worried that it would not present well, but it looks fine, and I can see both screens. I can see the stream, and I can see the Prizepicks desktop app. All right, cool. So I'll show you what I played yesterday, and I did pretty well. I didn't, do well enough to just ride off into the sunset, but here's this 6-pick flex. Now, I do want to give a big shout out to Jim the Judge, aka Toxic Flex, over in the Discord. Now, he shared this slip with everybody yesterday, and I already reached out to him in the Discord, told him to hit me up so I can like kick a little bit back to him. Hit me up with his Cash App. So Jim the Judge posted this in the Discord, and the only change I made was I took Anthony Edwards out and I put Goga Batadze in. I took Anthony Edwards out because his assists had been bumped up to 5, and as you know, he finished with 3 assists. And I put Goga in because I was playing Goga in underdog, and I think I put him in Jock Market, but I definitely had him in underdog, and I just wanted to correlate it a little bit better. Like, I wanted to take advantage of that prop. I just didn't see him getting 8 rebounds against the Wolves. I just didn't. I thought he'd get in foul trouble, and he did. So I ended up hitting for 6 for 6, 25x here. So that was really nice to wake up to. Played that under on Boncaro's PRA, and took the over on Barrett's PRA as well. Barrett had a fantastic game yesterday. We talked about his rebounds and assists. We didn't get to talk about his 3-pointers made, but that was also in play. Played the taco. Played this Yaya Sarikin in Spanish, the two L's is it makes a Y sound. So if that makes a Y and that's a YA, that's what is that? Yaya? I don't think his name is Yaya. That'd be pretty dope if it was. But Sorokin took the over on his goalie saves. That was one of the tacos, and that took the under on Nazim Kadri's shots on goal. That hit. And this was the original. So this was my very first pick. So I posted this at 12:30 the night before. Took the under on Anthony Simons. We talked about Anthony Simons, and then took the over Scotty Barnes 3-pointers made. We talked about both of these plays in the live stream. We talked about why I liked Anthony Simons on the under. It played out the way we talked about it. It was just a very tough matchup for him. He is a volume shooter, but New York's defense is too good to allow that to beat them. So he had a pretty good first quarter. He came out and scored 7 points in the first quarter, ends the game with 12. Now, I did play this shit. I did play this Karl Anthony Towns taco, which was fantastic. I got this. I got the PRA over on Jock Market. It was at 31, one of their little discounts. Played that with a couple of plays, but it didn't hit because of Sabonis. But I played this also on Prizepicks. I'm very pissed off that I paired it with Julius Randle's points prop. Just a bad beat on Julius Randle. You know, he should have hit this, but it's always clear to look in hindsight. You know, it's one of those games where the game was a 30-point blowout and you don't need all your stars to step up and produce. And he scored 20 points, which is good. But now looking back on it, 29 points seems a lot. I think you attack this kind of line in a closer game, in a more competitive game with a better team on the other side. But against the Trailblazers on the road, I don't know, man. My hindsight is super clear right now. I should have never played that play. I should have just paired him up with basically any other play that I like. But overall, it's a good day. And I do want to share those slips because I did post the Anthony Simons, Scotty Barnes in the Discord. I did share this 6-pick flex, the revised version of this 6-pick flex that Jim the Judge shared in the Discord as well. So if you were able to see those, tell those, add those to your slips. Hopefully they treated you well. But yeah, it was a pretty decent night on Prizepicks for me. And that hasn't been the case over the last few days. So it was nice to have some wins. All right, what's going on with 150 last night for Dante and AD pick? Dante was a hell of a good pick. I need to get some software that just kind of saves all these comments so I can go back and give shout outs to those who suggest a play, because when those plays hit, we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate those plays. Got to celebrate the person who put it in the chat, because there's a lot of comments that get left in the chat. I don't always remember who said what. So maybe hit me up in the Discord. Hey, I was the person that suggested Dante DiVincenzo over rebounds. That was a really good play. All right, good job, man. Nice job, Wyatt or Wit. Nonetheless, congrats on your winnings yesterday. All right. Share some plays. Yeah, feel free to share your plays as well. Feel free to share your wins here in the chat. I mean, if you got something that hit for you, let us know, man, for sure. Share it in the Discord too. Nothing wrong with that. 100% free to share your slips. No doubt. Yeah. Also, we'll real quick. Am I not able to pull the Discord up here? I don't think I am. No worries. I can still pull it up on my phone. What I was hoping is I can share the Discord through the app, but I can't. I gotta actually pull up a new tab. But Toxic and ATM left a few slips in the Discord, and I wanted to go over those too throughout the throughout the stream, and we can take a look at some of these plays and see if we like them, see if we want to add them. I mean, the way I look at it is we're all in this together. I mean, we're kind of competing with each other because we want to win, but at the same time, a great example, Jim posted that in the Discord. He shared it. He hit. He won. I won. We all win, So that's what it's all about. Prizepicks doesn't give you less money if you share a slip, right? It's not like, oh, you were the person who shared it first. Okay, you get more money, and you get the same. We all win. So why not why not share? Why not help each other win? I think it's a good practice here. All right. Let me just pull up this real quick, and then we'll get to plays. I promise. So in the Discord, so this is the underdog play. Pisses me off because I played this Ritz under his kills. He hit, Batadze hit under, and then Keegan Murray comes out and just has I just picking against the Kings has not worked for me, but go 2 for 3 in the underdog. This was where's the timestamp on this one? I don't see it. Anyway, Jim posted this, and then I told Jim I was going to tell it, change out Edwards for Batadze, and that's what I posted. That's what hit. And then I hit him up this morning and said, hey, hit. What's your cash app? And then here are the 3 power plays that I played. So everything, well, not everything. I would say 75% of the slips that I play, I put them in the Discord. I do keep some of that stuff to myself. It just creates a nice boundary for me. And that's just kind of my practice. But I do try to share, quite a few slips in the Discord. Sometimes they don't hit. Sometimes they don't hit, and it makes me feel foolish for sharing so much, not because it makes me look bad because, oh, your slips didn't hit, but honestly, like, I don't want people telling shitty slips. Like, if I post slips in the Discord and they don't hit, and you tell them, like, I don't want you losing your money. Like, I'll lose the money, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, if this hits, I want everybody to hit. So it's like, got to take the good with the bad. So that's why I share it. They don't always hit, but when they do hit, they hit for a good amount. So we move on. Anthony Simons, we talked about yesterday. He goes under 24.5 points. That was never a sweat, never in doubt for me. The one that was very surprising, probably very surprising to all of you, was the Anthony Edwards. Let me take that comment off with Wyatt. There we go. Anthony Edwards just had a really bad game yesterday. He really wasn't needed in that game. But I think we just all expected him to have a better performance because the matchup was prime, and he's good. He's really good at basketball. So put the 2 and 2 together. Yeah, so Anthony Edwards finished with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 fouls, 5 turnovers. Just a fucking awful night. If you played his fantasy points, that was really rough. He did come close to his assists. His assists were at 4.5. He finished with 3. I don't remember where his rebounds were at, but he finished with 4. But the Wolves won by 22 points, 21 points. They were up by as much as like 30. And the Jazz are a pretty legit team. I said the matchup was prime. I'm sorry. It wasn't a prime matchup like the Pistons and Kings, but it was just a matchup where I thought he would excel. He's kind of matchup proof. Anthony Edwards is getting to that level where he can just perform no matter what. A little bit of a tougher matchup, but still didn't expect this kind of game from him. So that was very surprising to see him just not show the hell up. And then I talked about De'Aaron Fox yesterday. Didn't get a chance to talk about him in the stream because this particular line was not available on Jock Market. They take these off real fast. So if you're on Jock Market, definitely, use my promo code. It's in the Discord. But I don't have an affiliate link with them yet. But Jock Market runs these really brief, like, flash sales. Like, they'll put a prop up. It's like good for 30 minutes, and they'll take it back down. So this was one of them. 25 points. This was probably the best line on the board for him yesterday. I know a lot of people were taking the over on his points at like 27.5. He scores 26 in what was a blowout. Pistons lost by 20. They were up and then they lose. That's what Pistons do. But yeah, 27.5. People were all over that yesterday. He didn't come close. So you would have lost that. If you played it at 25 on Jock Market, that's probably the only place it would have hit for you. So that's why those flash sales are pretty cool, because opens up a lot of value for you. So I did talk about that yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't we didn't get a chance to play it. And the only reason I brought it up, even though we didn't get a chance to play it, is I just want to open your eyes to another format, another player prop site that does offer really good value. So just because you missed this De'Aaron Fox, doesn't mean you'll miss the next one. There are going to be tons of them. So just keep your eyes out. Check out Jock Market. They're not a partner of the channel yet, but they are my partner because I play on their site. And so I have a promo code that's in the Discord. Check that out. All right, let's move on. We are ready to take on some new player props. Let's see what we got going on today. As you all know, Props.cash, big partner of the channel. Been using them since day one. January 19th, 2023 was the first video I posted on the channel, and we've been using them ever since. 25% off your first month over on Props.cash, taking your researching, player prop researching game to the next level. Use that promo code, save some money. Thank me later. Also, Prizepicks, newer partner of the channel, I should say. Not new to you. We all know Prizepicks, nothing new there. However, they are new to the channel in terms of partnership. So 100% deposit match up to $100, meaning you put $100 in, they'll put $100 of their promo funds in, giving you $200 to play around with, to create slips with. Referral link right there on the screen. All this information also can be found in the video description or live stream description. And lastly, but not leastly, OddShopper, the newest partner of the channel. We'll be using OddShopper today, trying to locate some value on the pick'ems table, taking a look at some expert picks and seeing what's popping, see if we like anything over there on OddShopper. But OddShopper supports multiple pick'em sites, not just Prizepicks. So Underdog, Prizepicks, Sleeper, Better, just a multitude of tools over there to use, and you'll see them today. Stick around long enough, we'll get to OddShopper. You'll see them for yourself. Referral code right there, referral link, I should say, right there on the screen. All right, we are moving on to today's plays. We'll be trying to cover plays that are on Prizepicks, Underdog, Jock Market. I know predominantly, the questions that come in are predominantly for Prizepicks, but don't be afraid to throw an Underdog in there. We're using Props.cash to break all these down. Props.cash doesn't discriminate, against Prizepicks and Underdog plays. It's the prop. They're going to break down the prop for us. So if you're ready, let's do it. Couple of plays that I like on the board right now. Kobe White rebounds. I like the over on this one. Now, this one is on Underdog when I first saw it. I believe it got put up on Prizepicks. Another reason to just get familiar with Jock Market. Jock Market puts their lines out pretty early. Jock Market and Prizepicks have very similar lines. So if you are diehard Prizepicks, I suggest you get on Jock Market and see what those lines are when they release them, because more than likely those are going to be the lines on Prizepicks. A lot of the time they're the same. They start off at the same line. Gives you kind of a head start on what to expect. So you can use Jock Market. You can use any player prop site like that. They're kind of competing with each other. They're trying to put the best lines out there. So it's not uncommon to see the same line on multiple player sites. But sometimes Prizepicks is a little slow with their props. But that's one way you can kind of figure it out before they drop them. But nonetheless, Kobe White rebounds. I like the over on this one. Taking on the Houston Rockets today. Second prop this is always one of my favorite props to take when it's available to us. It's Daniel Gafford. I don't believe we're ever going to see his combined steals and blocks under 2. When we used to get it at 1.5 for his steals and blocks, I mean, that was probably one of the best lines on the board. But right now, Daniel Gafford is on Prizepicks, is on Jock Market, 1.5 blocks. Not blocks and steals, just blocks. And that's okay for a guy like him because he throws the block parties for sure. So this one is on my radar. I like these two. We'll break these down over on Props.cash, but that's what I got. Let's find out what everybody else has. What do y'all want to take a look at? Throw in your player props, throw in your questions so we can start building out some slips here, building out some player props over on Prizepicks. All right, let's see here. ATM. Dante, Hayes, and Barrett plays I dropped in the chat yesterday. Cashed that in a 3-leg. Nice. Dante went over. Hayes goes over. Barrett all go over there. I believe those are all rebounds and assists, right? Dante was rebounds. Hayes and Barrett were rebounds and assists. Nice. Jim, the man of the hour. Hit me up, man. Hit me up in the Discord with your Cash App so I can share some of the winnings with you. Played off that slip yesterday, man. I know Anthony Edwards kind of derailed your 6 pick, but I didn't play him in mine, so we cashed 25x. All right, let's see. Brandon, all my plays hit under. If you were playing all unders, that's great, but by the tone of this, I feel like you played overs and they didn't go over for you, man. Sorry. Brandon also says AD, Scotty Barnes, and Paulo 2 under and 1 over. I gotcha. Jim says if Neesmith is up with his rebounds at 3.5, pick it up. ATM, Kobe over points, Terry under assist. Terry Rozier under assists. Paul George over points. Let's see. Kobe rebounds at 5 on Prizepicks. If it's still at 4.5 on Underdog, that's where you play it. And then Young, hilarious videos. What's up? I don't think I've seen this name in the chat before. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Hit that like button on your way in. Stick around for a minute or two. Trey Young over on assists. Mari off radar says Josh Giddey over rebounds and assists. All right. Let's do this. Let us do this. There were a couple of days where I really wanted to play Josh Giddey. Well, not play Josh Giddey. There were a couple of days that I wanted to put Josh Giddey as the thumbnail. I don't know how people feel about that. Listen, I'm not trying to like make everybody happy, you know, but that's a pretty sensitive subject, so I don't want people throwing tomatoes and shit at my car or something. A little exaggerated. Like, is it too soon to put Josh Giddey as a thumbnail? Back at that time, I thought maybe a little too soon. But the guy was hitting his props, so I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Not play his ass because shit he has in his personal life? That's not my business. Is it fucked up? Yeah, kind of. But his props are still on the board. I'm gonna play him. So I think enough time has passed to where I don't have to worry about his thumbnail being a controversial topic. So if we come across a play in the next few days that I like, he might be on the thumbnail. Just saying. All right, let's start with Josh Giddey. We're talking about him. His ears are burning. Let's throw him up on the board. And he is not on Prizepicks right now. Unless I spelled his name wrong. There he is. Why wasn't he on Oh, I didn't put the E between the D and the Y. Okay. So Mari says Josh Giddey rebounds and assists. We get this at 11. Let's start there. All right, that's number 1. Let's see. We got let's start back here at the top. Kobe White over points, ATM says. And then Terry Rozier under assist, PG over points. So we got 2-point props. So we got Kobe over points, PG over points. Anybody on the Wizards tonight versus the Pacers? Are we staying away from anybody on Anthony Edwards tonight after that dud of a game yesterday? I know it's not like it's probably the worst back-to-back you can have in the NBA. Minnesota, then Boston. I think he's too damn good to have two badass games like that. Two dud games, I should say. Might be something to look into for sure. All right, Kobe White, points. We're talking about the over on his points. Yeah, put the over or under. If you want me to like dig into a player prop, yeah, definitely player name, player prop, and then whether you want the over under, that way I can, have it reflect on the screen for y'all and we can make a case for it. Rozier under points, and then Rozier under assists. Really, Rozier under assists? Okay. Where is it at? Like at 10? 8. And then Paul George. Something we do here also, if you're new to the stream, this kind of happened on accident, but as we're building out, or excuse me, as we're researching player props as they come through, you may see like this particular bunch of players. You might say like, oh, that's actually a really good 5-pick flex or whatever, or that's a nice little start to a slip. I might use that as is. This is totally unintentional because I'm just taking the player props as they're asked in the chat and I'm just throwing them on the screen. But in the event we actually have something that you like, I mean, don't be afraid to play that as a slip, or at least take a couple of those and put them in your own slip. Kind of what this whole thing is about, is not just answering questions for y'all, but y'all getting to see like what other people are thinking and, using that to your advantage. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to take those and we're going to head over to props.cash. And we're going to start digging into this. All right, so login screen for props.cash. Excellent mobile app as well. Love the mobile app. Love the mobile app. And mobile app has come along. It wasn't always, I don't even believe the mobile app was up when we first started using props.cash, but it's been added and it's been just updated and updated and updated. Now the mobile app is fantastic. So just a good reason to consider using props.cash. I mean, there are times where I'm like scrolling through the Discord or even X and I see something and I'm like, let me just check that shit out on props.cash. And obviously the mobile app operates better on your phone than like the website version. So really just like props.cash a lot. All right. I'm going to start with Giddey over his rebounds and assists. This is at 11 on Prizepicks. So you're getting it for 10.5. So it does look like it was bumped up. Let's see. Projected for 12. So even with the bump, projections don't seem to care. Still at 12. He's gone back-to-back games of 13 plus rebounds and assists. He's gone over this in 4 out of 5 games. And he's gone over this in 6 out of 10 games with a 60% hit rate. Miami's defense, not the best defense to attack. We all know the style of play they bring to the court. However, somebody has to get rebounds. Somebody has to dish out assists. I mean, it's not like all the stat lines are going to be at 0. Looking at what Miami does well, they do allow very few rebounds per game against the other teams in the league. Assists a little worse than the league average. So these two numbers aren't ideal, but head-to-head matchup for Josh Giddey, we do have that to look at. We got 2 games to look at from last season where he racked up 25 rebounds and assists and then 18. Yeah, in that first game, he only got 18 rebounds and assists. He only got 18 rebounds and assists. You can take a look at what so with rebounds and assists, I'm not sure why that is not pulling up as a stat on props.cash when we want to take a look at historical data teams versus Miami, but we do have the option to take a look at rebounds and then assists and kind of just do some simple math if you want to do that. Josh Giddey is a shooting guard. I don't know what he is. Shooting guards versus Miami have rebounded fairly well, at least over the last week or so. Jalen Green going over, Bradley Beal going over, Book going over. You have Reeves, Christie going over as well. I want to take a look at what shooting guards have done against Miami via the assist. Even better, Jalen Green over, Beal over, Book over, Kogi over. The whole goddamn Phoenix backcourt went over. Austin Reeves, James Harden, Norman Powell. Another thing to do, we're looking at the result and we're looking at whether they hit their respective line, but we got to look and see also if that line is getting over like where Josh Giddey is today. So Josh Giddey's line is at 11. He needs at least 5 assists. So anything 5 or more is kind of what we're looking for. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of those players went over 5 assists. So I think this looks like a strong play for Giddey. I mean, I don't know if people thought like he was going to get benched or traded or like, oh, go kneel on Rice in the corner. You've been a bad boy. Like, it's the fucking NBA, man. Like, these are grown ass men and they do a lot of messed up stuff all the time. We've seen guys do worse and still play. Right. So I don't know if people thought his minutes were going to get reduced or he's done in OKC. Maybe he's done after the season, but I don't see any in-season like movement coming from what, from his whole situation. So it does make it easier to look at his minutes and like say, okay, he's playing roughly 25 minutes a game. That shouldn't change too much. I mean, it's not like since all that happened, he's playing fewer minutes. I mean, he's been playing this the whole season. So I don't think we have anything to worry about there. Outside of the Miami defense being a tough matchup, I think this is a good line for the over on Josh Giddey at 11. I love it at 10.5. If you can find it somewhere at 10.5, that's better. But 11 on Prizepicks is not a bad line. All right, let's talk about Coby White's points. And I guess we can look at his rebound since we're looking at his points. So sitting at 19.5 over on Prizepicks. 19. Did this get bumped? Nah, it was always at 19. All right. 18.5. Even money at 18.5. So 21 points is his projection versus the Rockets. Another matchup that's not ideal. Another like slow-paced team, good defensive team. So let's look at what Coby White's done over his last 5. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5. He's hit this in 6 out of his last 10. Head-to-head matchup versus the Rockets. None to speak of this season. These games are kind of irrelevant. The reason they're irrelevant is because his role is different this year than it was last year. So you're looking at a guy who played last year sparingly. The team looked a lot different last year. I mean, in one of those games, he didn't even get 20 minutes. So when you compare that to his last 10 games and take a look at his usage, take a look at his minutes played in those games, comparing this season to last season, I mean, he's basically doubling up his minutes in these games this season. So the role is different. His usage rate is different. He's a different player. He looks like a much better player, much more confident player this season. So throw out the head-to-head matchups. I don't think we can find any sort of value in looking at those. So we're sticking to the 5 and 10 game logs here. Projections look strong. Let's take a look at what guards. What the hell is Coby White? A shooting guard? Let's take a look at what shooting guards have done versus the Rockets in terms of points scored. Josh Richardson goes over his line with 12. Duncan goes over his line with 14. Hero goes over his lines with 28. That's kind of probably out of those three, you want to look at what Hero did versus the Rockets. Out of those 3 players, Hero is more comparable to Coby White than Duncan or Josh Richardson, in my opinion, just based off usage rate. So we also have Pat Connaughton who goes over. We had Nickeil Alexander-Walker goes over. Anthony Edwards does not go over, but he does get you 24, which gets you over today's line. Alec Burks goes over. And Jaden Ivey pushes at 19. Well, it's a push for Coby White at 19, but it goes over his line. So guards are having some success versus the Rockets. Despite their pace of play and their defensive ranking, they are allowing production from the shooting guard position. So I don't mind Coby White's points at 19. I don't think the bump is that big a deal unless you just project him only getting you 19, which means he can't do better than a push. I mean, if you had him going over 18.5, you probably had him closer to 20 than 19, would still get you over. All right, Kobe White, done. I know we talked about Rozier assists, but let's talk. Oh, Kobe White rebounds. We'll go Kobe White rebounds, Paul George points, and then we'll do Rozier assists. Kobe White's rebounds are looking real good. All right, this is what I was looking at. Minus 138 to the over. He's gone over this in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 10 games, 3 out of his last 5. Projected for 5.56 rebounds. Rockets are slightly worse than league average in rebounds allowed. So the odds are really popping out to me. His projections were really popping out to me. Playing more minutes, he's on the court more, gives him more rebounding opportunities. That's kind of what it boils down to. It's really difficult to rack up boards when you're on the bench. So that's why his rebounds are standing out to me. That's why I liked it over an underdog. It was on Prizepicks, now I got bumped up. So 4.5 is where I would play it. That's where I wanted. That's where I wanted at 4.5. All right, let's go Paul George as the Raptors do their West Coast tour. Paul George. Did the Raptors win? I get so caught up in player props and shit. Like, did my player prop hit that I don't even look at the score sometimes? It's irrelevant. Just like, I don't care if they win or lose. I just want my guys to hit. They won. No, they lost by 1 point. 263 game total. Holy crap. Looks like I missed a hell of a good game. I fell asleep really early last night. Bad news is I woke up late and got a late start to the day. The good news is I got my full 8 hours of sleep. So, flip a coin on that one, which is better. All right, so Paul George points, 23.5 over on props.cash, 23.5 over on Prizepicks. So no discount, no value here. Projected for 23.4 versus the Raptors. What is Paul George, a wing? We consider him a wing. What did the Wings do versus the Lakers yesterday? You had Barrett put up 23. You had Scotty Barnes finish with 26. Scotty Barnes under rebounds and assists. That was at 14 yesterday. He finished with 9. So we were on that one too. Well, we talked about that one. So if you played that one, it worked out. We were right. We were right about that one. Siakam put up 25. All right, so based off that information, I mean, mid-20s is kind of the range that the Raptors were living in yesterday in terms of points scored by their wing-ish kind of players. I know Siakam's kind of a center, but he kind of does a little bit of everything. Paul George is in a good spot versus the Raptors. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one. Paul George is playing the Raptors, not on the Raptors. So Anthony Davis put up 41 against the Raptors yesterday. LeBron puts up 22, and then the rest of this team does nothing. Reeves 11. So yeah, just trying to compare and see like what opposing players did against the Lakers yesterday, against the Raptors yesterday, I should say. So not a whole lot to go on there. Sometimes you can find some kind of trend, but not in this case. Let's look at Paul George over his last 10 games, 3, 4, 5, 50% hit rate. Over his last 5, 60% hit rate. Head-to-head matchup versus the Raptors, 23 and 23. Wow. That's his tribute to Michael Jordan. He's like, hey, I'm only going to score 23 points tonight. So, I don't know. Odds are not in favor of the under, or excuse me, odds are not in favor of the over. So, minus 120 to the under. His current line today is higher than his projection. His current line today is also higher than his past 2 games versus the Raptors. And then over his last 10 games, he's averaging 24.5. So we know that he has that 30-point upside. He doesn't need 30 points tonight. He needs 24. So I don't know. I guess the question to ask yourself is, is the defense of the Toronto Raptors strong enough to contain Paul George to 23 or less points? Looking at what small forwards or shooting guards have done versus what the hell is Paul George? Small forward? Looking at what they've done versus the Raptors. So look, I mean, LeBron James not going over points, not that surprising, especially when AD has a big game like he did. 67 fantasy points. Cam Reddish goes over. Wiggins doesn't go over. I'm looking for a name that's comparable to Paul George in terms of usage. Karis LeVert, man, he triples his line here. 16 for Okoro, 19 for Bojan, 17 for Kevin Knox. Holy shit. And we got to go down to Tobias Harris, maybe. That's small forward. What about shooting guard? I mean, I know I've seen PG listed as a 2. Clay and Moody both go over. All right, that's promising. 22 for Desmond Bane, 26 for Donovan Mitchell. So it looks like over the last week or so, outside the Clay, they really kind of clamped down on that production from the 2 and 3. I don't know. At 23, at 23 and a half, it's kind of a coin flip for me, to be honest, with his points. One last thing we could do is take a look at what he's done at home. Maybe that kind of moves the needle a little bit. Over his last 10 home games, he's gone over this in 3, 4, 5 games. He's averaging 22. So that's even worse. When we look out and say over his last 10 games, he's gone over this 5 times, but he's averaging almost 25. But at home, he's averaging 22, and then on the road, he's averaging 23. So 23.4 over his last 10 home or away games and 22. So there you go. I don't know. I'm not really liking that one for if we're being honest. Rozier assist sitting at 8 on Prizepicks. We're getting it at 8.5 on other books, meaning was this open? Did it open up at 7.5? Doesn't look like it. It's weird to see a line at 8. So I feel like it did get bumped up from 7.5. But we can adjust this line down to 8 and see that he has hit 8 3 times out of his last 10. We're looking at playing the under on under on Terry Rozier. So I don't mind this one. Looking at his projections at 7 versus the Sacramento Kings. Rebounds and assists is another one that has been playable over the last, I don't know, month or 2 since LaMelo Ball's been out. Getting favorable odds to the under on this one, but we're looking at his assist. So huge juice to the under here. And it's at 8. So even at 8, it's not looking all that great. Yeah, I don't mind this one. You do have more push potential at 8. So it wouldn't be a total shock to see Terry Rozier get you 8 assists, because that's kind of where he's been living these past 10 games. But I think there's more of a shot of him going under based off what we're seeing here. Head-to-head matchup with the Sacramento Kings doesn't really give us a whole lot to go on. Last time they played was, a week ago? And he dished out 6 assists. So I think this was good for the under on Terry Rozier. I think this one's good. So we got Kobe White over his points. We got Rozier under his assists. We got PG. Honestly, I would probably play the under on his points, but it's kind of a coin flip either way. Maybe you saw enough in that breakdown to go over. Maybe you saw enough to go under. Maybe you just saw enough to stay away from it. Oh, and Giddey over his rebounds and assists. So that's what we got so far. Let's clear this out and let's move on and see what we got. Let's see what we got. Jim Neesmith rebounds. Let's look at that one. Neesmith rebounds. Yeah. Without Halliburton in the lineup, is that 3.5, Jim? Is that where you saw it? Without Halliburton in the lineup, everybody eats. It's the same thing that we saw yesterday in Detroit. Without Cade Cunningham in the lineup, I mean, you're seeing guys step up that you probably wouldn't even know were on the team. Guys like Kevin Knox, Marcus Sasser, Joe Harris is still around. Bojan goes off. Ivy goes off. Duran goes off. Alec Burks. That's 4 guys in double-digit points. All 3 out of those 4 guys got you 5 or more rebounds. So just gives you an idea of like when that superstar is out of the lineup, how it really increases the role of everybody. You're looking at a rebound line of 3.5 for Neesmith. I'm assuming that we like the over on this one. We can dig into it and make a case for either side of this for sure. Trae Young over assists. We could take a look at that one. Hilarious said that he got that at 11. Unless it got bumped up. Hilarious also said Josh Giddey under his PRA 22.5. Ooh. Oh, we got some conflicting lines here. So we like the over on Josh Giddey's rebounds and assists at 11, but now we're getting some love to the over on his points, rebounds, and assists. So if we like the over on his RA at 11, so it gets you 12. Are we saying that he scores less than 10 points versus the Heat? So if you think that's the case, do we like the under on his points as well? I guess we could take a look at his PRA. That's a interesting one. Jim says, see if Victor's 3 points made was at 1.5, if still there for the over. Let's see. Hey, look at that one. Look at that one. All right. What else? Let's see. Divine Miles, welcome into the chat. Appreciate you being here on the stream. Mocha King, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Wimby over 3s, Giddey over RA. We talked about Giddey. We're gonna go back and look at his PRA because Hilarious wants to take a look at the under on that one. Neesmith over rebounds, White over first half PRA. I mean, you are 1, 2, 3, 4. You got yourself a nice little 5, a nice little 5 pick there. Menace TV, what's going on? What did Giddey do? He was dating like a 12-year-old, 15-year-old. I don't know if they had the parents' consent or not, but that got put out into the media real fast, and everybody had a lot of fun with that one in terms of just the memes and shit. Why not just take Giddey assists? It's a good question. It's a good question, Damien. All right. Jimmy Judge Howard. All right. Got him. All right. Let's see. Just looking for one more. Rock Beast, Zubac over 12.5 points. All right. We got enough to dig into. A little group here of props. Ooh, is that 13, man? It's at 13 and a half. Seems kind of high. We could take a look at it though. All right, we're going back to props.cash, taking another plunge. We'll start with this Giddey line. No. We're gonna start with Neesmith rebounds, since that was brought up a little sooner in the chat. All right. -130 to the over, 102 to the under. So we're getting positive odds here to the over, projected for 3.73 rebounds today versus the Washington Wizards, who are hemorrhaging rebounds at the second worst spot in the NBA. Are they last? 30 teams in the NBA, right? 30 teams in the NBA, they're dead last. I don't know why I keep thinking there are 31 teams in the NBA. 30 teams, I believe. Dead last. Dead last. All right. Head-to-head games versus the Wiz. He's averaging 3.8 over his last 10. Oof. This is really nice. Look at this shit. 3, 6, 7 games of 4+ rebounds, 1 hook, and 2 unders. I don't even think we need to see games play without Tyrese Halliburton. This is fantastic, but to be fair, so 10 games without Tyrese Halliburton. Neesmith is averaging 3.6 rebounds over his last 10 without Hallie. Upside of 6. Last 10 games played with Halliburton in the lineup, he's averaging 3.8 with upside of 5. Upside is higher without Halliburton. Obviously, one less person on the floor who commands a ton of usage, who has the ball in his hands a lot. And then you're still seeing, with Halliburton in there, you're still seeing a really good hit rate. So with or without Halliburton, Neesmith is producing. His rebound line is low enough to where we don't really need to even consider the fact that Halliburton's out the lineup. Like if this got juiced up to 5 or something like that, it'd be a little too close to call for me. But under 5, this is really strong. So I like this one. All right, real quick, let's just take a look at Giddey, because there have been some opposing opinions in the chat in terms of which prop to look at for him. So we do like the over on his RA at 11, but we're talking now about his PRA at 22.5 and liking the under on this one. So he's projected for 27.62. That's a shit ton of projection. Minus 115 on the over, minus 111 on the under. He's hit this in 4 out of his last 5, 6 out of his last 10. We already know the matchup. Miami is not good. They bring a very slow style to the court. They are very tough on defense. A lot of rangy bodies on that team. Hero, Triple J. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is another Triple J. We got multiple Triple Js in the league. So outside of the odds not being all that great, taking the under on his PRA, I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot here to want to take. To be honest with you, I'm not seeing enough to take the over either. It's kind of a coin flip for me with his PRA. I like the prospects of the over on his RA, but we're saying, like, why not even take the over on his assist? Even though his assists are not getting crazy good odds, I mean, you are getting kind of a coin flip here, a little bit more juice to the under here, but I mean, this is not like anything crazy. I mean, he's pushed in, or he's hooked in 4. He's gone over in 5. He's averaging 5 over his last 10. He's averaging almost 6 over his last 5. Against the Heat, we do have to look back to last season, but he is averaging 8.5 per game. I mean, if I had to rank him, I would say RA, I like that over, and then second would be 4.5 assists. Outside of that, I don't want to get too cute with the OKC versus Miami in Miami. So, but that's an interesting take on his PRA, the under 22.5. Oh, talking about San Antonio. We're not in San Antonio for this game. We are in Detroit. Do they got some big old women in Detroit too? Can Detroit compete with San Antonio's big old women? I feel like if they could, Charles Barkley would have already talked about it on the show. San Antonio might have Detroit beat when it comes to big old women. Maybe Charles Barkley needs to spend some time in Detroit and like report back to us. But we're looking at Victor Wembanyama's 1 point. Oh, the funniest shit was he said, "I'm surprised Wembanyama hasn't gained 20 pounds since being in San Antonio." Just hanging out with like women who eat churros by default, like you're just gonna gain weight because like you're eating what they eat. I guess that was his angle. I just thought it was funny. He's always just talking shit about San Antonio. 1.5 3-pointers made for Victor Wembanyama. 5 straight games at 2+. He's gone over this in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of his last 10. 100% hit rate over his last 5. He is projected for 1.58 3-pointers made today versus the Detroit Pistons, who are hemorrhaging 3-point percentage. That's 3-pointers made here, or the percentage. I'm sorry. So 3-pointers made versus percentage. Do I have that backwards? Percentage is high because this is not 3-pointers attempted. Nonetheless, the only thing that concerns me with Wembanyama is his minutes. But we saw what he did against Milwaukee. He did everything he did in that game, having played only 26 minutes. So even with a minute reduction, I don't even think that's like enough to stop him. I guess the only other question would be, do you think he gets up for this game against another bad team? It's like national television against Giannis, rookie versus like, old line versus new line, or whatever, however you're going to spin it. A lot of narrative there. So it's a lot of media hype. Easy to get up for those kind of games. But a game against the Detroit Pistons, that would be another question. But you got two teams that are not very good at this point in the NBA season. So I don't see this being a blowout. So he should get his full run, 26 minutes. Maybe they even give him a little bit more of this game. But nonetheless, this looks really good. 2-pointers made, or 3-pointers made. Steals and blocks, or maybe just blocks. Blocks look really good as well. I don't know if that's a prop over on Prizepicks. Probably not. If you can find this anywhere else at 2.5, I think that's a strong over. Maybe the books are too smart to put his blocks up. But at 2.5, that's a steal. All right. Wemby, Nesmith, Giddey. I do want to take a look at this Zubac points because you guys played it at 12.5, but it's at 13.5 on Prizepicks. He's projected for 14.6 points. Oh, maybe you are onto this play because Jakob Poeltl is out. Is that why? With Jakob Poeltl out yesterday, you had Thad Young playing 29 minutes. You had Chris Boucher playing 14 minutes. And you had Siakam playing 32 minutes. Jonte Porter. Combination of Jonte Porter, Chris Boucher, Thad Young, all soaking up minutes due to the absence of Jakob Poeltl. That's what you have running out there today versus Zubac, versus Plumlee. I mean, two big bodies in LA. That does make more sense and why you would be looking at the points. But at 12.5, I feel like that was a really strong line. 13.5, I think it's still playable. You just need 14 for him to go over. head-to-head matchup with the Raptors. He's gone over this in 2 games, but we do have to go back to last season to find that information. So I would rather see games a little bit more recent. Some of these point totals are really difficult to ignore. I mean, this is PG shit right here. 22 points, right? 19, 18. This is like 2 guard point totals, small forward point totals. It's in play. It is definitely in play. I'm not racing to put it in my slip at 13.5, but if I fall, like if I get it in my slip in a flex, I'm not mad about it at all. So for now, I'm take the over on his points, take the over on Wembanyama, take the over on Nesmith rebounds, and taking the under on Josh Giddey. I'm still kind of like up in the air with this Josh Giddey one. So I guess it will boil down to his points. If you don't think he's going to score more than 10 points, because we do like the over on his RA, he needs 12 to go over. Even if he got you 10 points, that's 22 PRA. 13 points would get him over, or 11 points for Josh Giddey would get him over. So he either has to have a really bad game in terms of rebounds and assists, or he just has to have a pretty bad night from the field to go under his PRA. That's kind of my narrative on those, on like how that would happen. But that's why we talk about them. That's why we break them down, so we can kind of figure this out together. So those are the 4 that we talked about. Clearing that screen, going back to the chat, seeing what's up in the chat. Let's see. All right. ATM says Zubac is Harden's great value in B. That is actually really good. That is a really good take, ATM. Damian Wemby on the 24 minutes. Yeah, 20. I thought it was 26. It's 24. I know they talked about him going over a little bit in that Milwaukee game because they just needed it. The game was that close. So if it's at 24, then he definitely went over it in those 2 games. But even on a 24-minute restriction, him making 2 threes is pretty. I think that's pretty good odds of that happening. Anthony Medina, welcome in. Dart throw, Turner steals under. That's the dart throw. You're talking about that being a dart throw. Giddey cashed his assist super early last game, says Damian. How about his rebounds and assists? M. Oh, the mystery of M. Welcome in. Yeah, we talked about Giddey's rebounds and assists. We like it at 11. Loved it at 10.5. If you can find it somewhere at 10.5, but 11 seems to be the line everywhere. Damian says Zubac getting more minutes. Nesmith rebounds. Absolutely. Don't sleep on John Collins, PRA. Easy lock. He will keep Jazz close with Denver. All right. We can take a look at JC. Aaron Gordon over 3-pointers made. What is it at? Is it still at 0.5? We got some nice little alternate lines. So we're going 3-pointers made. We're going blocks and steals. Yeah. All right. Tell you what. It is now time in the stream to visit the OddShopper streets. Try to make that into a bigger production than it needs to be. But let's talk OddShopper. All right. Let's talk Pick'em's table. Let's see if we can't locate 1-2 plays that are popping in terms of EV, in terms of expected win, in terms of true odds. Maybe you need one play. Maybe you need one player to put in your slip. You need that extra play to partner up to make a 2-pick play. Maybe we find it in this portion of the video, of the stream. Let's see what we got. So, new to OddShopper. All my information is in the stream description here, but OddShopper covers multiple platforms, not just Prizepicks in terms of pick'em sites. Also do betting table, but in Texas, I don't have access to any of that stuff. So Better, Jock Market, Prizepicks, Sleeper, and Underdog are the platforms supported on the pick'em side of things over on OddShopper. We're just going to leave this open, but we are going to filter out to the NBA since we're talking NBA Prizepicks. And it's going to refresh the screen for us. So the number one play on the board right now is this Tyus Jones under 6.5 assists on Underdog, sitting at 6% EV, 58% expected win, 138 true odds, and then minus 128 odds on the book. So his assists look like they are in play. Also, you're looking at what other player prop sites have this at, or just all other books, I should say. Next highest play on the board is this Kobe White under 19.5. So we talked about the over on his points at 19 on Prizepicks, but on Better it is at 19.5. So it says the better odds are to take the under on that one. Under on Herb Jones, 17.5 PRA versus Golden State. Keldon Johnson, under 6.5 rebounds on Jock Market. Terry Rozier, this guy is just a beast. Without LaMelo Ball in the lineup, it is scary indeed to take the under on his lines right now. We talk about taking the under on his assist, but this dude can go from like having 4 points at the half and finishing with 35 and just go off and hit 8 threes. I mean, this is kind of shit he does. So I will have to look into this one a little bit more just because he is just that kind of dude. Under on SGA. Now, we're talking about taking the under on Josh Giddey's PRA. Taking the under on SGA, there's logic to that. Is it scary? Yeah. But the matchup is there to take the under on. Like if he were playing another team in a fast-paced game, maybe not. But now he needs 34 points to go over his line against the Miami Heat. So that's also in play. So this is just like giving you pretty much a rundown of everything that's on the board across multiple sites in terms of plus EV to play. We can also take a look at the Prizepicks optimizer. So this is pretty cool. As the day goes on, it's still pretty early in the day. So obviously as the day goes on, more value will be on the board. But as of now, we can take a look at the NBA and just kind of let the entry builder create a slip for us. We don't have to play this slip, but it does give you the best correlation of plays available. So under Herb Jones, under Jalen Green points, under Maxey rebounds, under Fox rebounds, under Jalen Johnson rebounds and assists, and then under Devin Vassell points. So don't like these plays. It's all good. Don't have to play them. But in terms of EV and in terms of win rate, this is what is showing on Prizepicks. On Underdog, there you go. Now, this is going to include the best plays on the board regardless of league. So this is a NCAA basketball play right here. One thing I like doing is checking out the expert picks. Now, these expert picks do not cover just pick'em sites. They're just the best plays on the board. However, you still may be able to find these player props on pick'em sites. So Kyle Kuzma under rebounds. He goes under a lot of the time. Now, this is under minus 115 odds. You can find this on DraftKings. Tyrese Maxey under points, 32.5. That's a lot of points for Tyrese Maxey. And Joel Embiid is out. So that is the reason why that is so high. McCollum over points. If you're not an under person, you don't like playing unders, there's an over for you. CJ McCollum over 20.5 points versus Golden State. Like the under on Maxey's points, you might as well like the under on his PRA, or maybe you think that's too close for comfort, but that's a higher number. Maybe you think there's a little bit more there to take the under on here on his PRA. And there's our boy Daniel Gafford over 6.5 rebounds. Oh, this is super good. I haven't even checked on Prizepicks to see all of Daniel Gafford's lines. 7.5 on Prizepicks, and his blocks have been taken off, but his blocks and steals are up at 2.5. But his blocks, we were looking at Jock Market, I think. But nonetheless, rebounds for Daniel Gafford. Against the Pacers, who are not a really strong rebounding team in that front court. You can also just search a player and see all their player props across the industry, no matter what player site you're on. It's going to show you everything that's on the board right now. And this is how you can do a nice little, correlation here. Playing Daniel Gafford's points on the over on better than taking the under on his rebounds on, underdog. Taking the over on his points, rebounds, and assists. So, how does that work? Why do you like the under on rebounds but the over on points? So, he goes out and gets you 11 points. He goes out and gets you 7 rebounds. That's 18. And he only needs 1 assist to go over that PRA line. Taking the under on a player doesn't mean they have a bad game. It just means they missed that line. And it can be that 0.5. We've all been there before. That 0.5 is a bitch. And sometimes that 0.5 is the difference between you 25x in something and you 2x in something. So I use this a lot in terms of just, I like a player's props. Let's see what's available instead of me going to each site and checking it out. That takes up a lot of time. So I like Daniel Gafford's plays today for sure. I will show you guys this one as well. So expert articles. This is going to cover everything, not just player props, but it'll cover actual betting lines. All these articles are really informative in terms of just getting more information, just being better educated around things, not being so much in the dark on things. This will kind of open your eyes to a few different plays. We got the NFL playoff articles already up. Scrolling down here, you can see articles from the past. So once the NBA articles pop up, we're going to have a lot of different things to look at, but there's just a lot of information to go over on OddShopper. So just another reason why I like talking about this in the live stream. All right. So in terms of player props on Prizepicks, we just ran through 10, 12, including the 2 that I like. That's 14. Let's round it up to 15. 15 player props. We just talked about in the stream over on Prizepicks. I tell you what, let's do this. Eric, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Eric says Neesmith rebounds is free. Feels like it. For real. Curry under RA. Why am I not able to pull up this comment? Oh, DeAnthony Melton back in the lineup too. Oh, so we're making a case for the under on Tyrese Maxey. No Embiid, but Melton back in. Melton soaks up quite a bit of usage too. For some reason, I cannot scroll up on this shit. All right. Gordon, 3-pointers made. Curry under RA. Collins, PRA. All right. Collins, PRA. Aaron Gordon. Dude got attacked by his dog. I didn't see any stitches on his face when he came back. I was looking for that shit. I don't know, maybe he was on the top of his head. My dog bit the shit out of my thumb. We were playing catch or fetch or whatever. She sucks at playing fetch. I throw the ball, she brings it back, and she doesn't want to give it back. Like, she just holds on to it. So like, game is over like in 2 seconds. But in the event I like get the ball back, that's fun. And she just went after the ball one day and tried to like get it out of my hand and just like opened me up on my thumb, like split it open. And it looks a lot worse. Like when you get bit by a dog, when the blood's coming out, like you think that the worst thought is like, oh, she bit my thumb off or something. And you clear out the blood and it's just like a nasty little cut. I can't imagine getting bit in the face by a dog. Like that shit hurt enough on my thumb. I can't imagine what that felt like if he indeed get bit in the face by a dog. People say there's like conspiracy shit in the NBA, like Kelly Oubre's car accident never happened. Like apparently he got injured riding his mountain bike and broke a rib. And the reason they didn't release that information is because there's a clause in his contract saying that he can't ride any like bikes or motorcycles, something like that. So they switched the story up. He switched the story up or something. So I don't know if Eric Gordon was missing time. Did he really get bit by a dog? You know? Interesting, the storylines in NBA. I always find that fascinating. All right, Collins PRA, Gordon 0.5, 3-pointers made. Curry, we're talking about Curry under rebounds and assists at 10. And Darrell wanted to look at Kawhi Lion, Leo Lion, Leonard the Lion. What was it? Blocks and steals? There's 4 right there. All right. We got 4 plays. More than likely, these will be the last 4 plays of the stream. If I didn't get to yours, I think I got to pretty much everybody's. But if I didn't get to yours, you can always throw it in the chat, in the Discord. I mean, we got the props.cash bot in the Discord, so you can actually do this search yourself. It's not as detailed as what we do on the stream because it is the free version. It is helpful though, especially if you're just learning about props.cash. It'll kind of get you the exposure. But we got that bot. It's free to use in the chat or in the Discord, so check that out. All right. We're headed back over to props.cash. Final group of player props. This has been a blast. Appreciate y'all being here, making this fun. Hit that like button on your way in. Hit it twice on your way out if you don't like what we do here. To each their own. All right, let's start off with John Collins. Trying to think in the order in which I have. Actually, we're going to go John Collins and Aaron Gordon because these are from the same game. Look at that. Making shit easy, making it happen. All right. For a while, I want to say John Collins' first half PRA was a wagon. And it fell off. In the event you're looking at his first half PRA, there you go. 2, 4, 6 out of 10, 4 out of 5. Let's look at full game. John Collins, PRA today is set to 19.5, taking on the Denver Nuggets. He has gone over this in 5 straight games, 7 out of his last 10 games, averaging 24 PRA over his last 5, 20 over his last 10 in his head-to-head games with the Denver Nuggets. This season, he does have one game to look at where he went with, where he got over with 25 PRA in that game. Currently projected for 21.67 here. As you can see, projections right here. Odds are fine. Projections look strong. Matchup kind of sucks just because Denver is a pretty good team, defending NBA champs, but in terms of defensive statistics and rankings, pretty strong. But he did it once. You know what they say? You did it once, you could do it again. So John Collins, there you go, PRA. Are you interested in seeing what opposing fours? What is John Collins? 4? What opposing fours have done versus the Denver Nuggets this season? Let's kick it off. There's that name. I couldn't pronounce that name yesterday, and I was saying how Wendell Carter's out, Franz is out. You're gonna have guys like Goga and Chumake Okike. I couldn't. Chuma Okiki is his name. He goes over with 11 PRA, 53 for Boncaro, 26 for Saric, 24 for Kuminga. What's interesting about the Saric Kuminga combo here is that neither one of these dudes plays like huge minutes. Like Kuminga does start games, but there are games where he doesn't play 30 minutes or even close to 30 minutes. So they don't play. And Dario Saric is coming off the bench. For these guys to combine for 50 PRA in like their role together is equal to like one starter role in terms of minutes. That's pretty damn impressive. Like this is equal to Paolo Banchero, who plays like 70 minutes a game. A lot of green check marks here, but I'm looking for totals that are over 19.5. It is promising. It is assuring to see guys go over their game line. Not every player is created equal, right? So to say this one, we don't care about this one because he only got 11. Well, he got over 9.5, and based off his production and his role as a player, that's really good. Obviously, 11 for Banchero will be terrible, but it's all relative. So the check marks are great. It's even better when we get the line that's over John Collins 19.5 today. So all that looks good. I like that one. That was a good find. Good find. All right, let's take a look at Aaron Gordon. 3-pointers made. Coffee is now cold. My coffee is now cold brew. Still good. Still strong. I get 3 shots of espresso in my coffee. 2 to 3 shots every morning. I got like so many Starbucks stars on my card. I got like 1,000 stars on my card. So I'm just like free drink every day. Free drink, free drink. Coffee's great. Tastes even better when it's free. All right. 0.5 3-pointers made for Aaron Gordon. Looking at his history versus the Utah Jazz. 2 out of the last 5 games. Over his last 5 games, Aaron Gordon has gone over this in 4 out of those 5 games, averaging 1 3-pointer per game. Over his last 10, not as good. 5 out of his last 10. However, a way to look at this 10-game log is not to look at it and go, oh, he's only gone over 50%. It's to look at where that momentum is picking up. Like, are we past the momentum? Are we getting into the momentum? Is he getting into like a streak here, or is he past his streak? It looks like he's heating up and he's getting into a streak based off this information. So 50% over his last 10 doesn't look great, but what he's done over his last 5 holds more value to me than what he's done over his last 10. Projected for 0.63 3-pointers made. I think that's pretty strong. We're getting strong numbers here. This number right here, it looks good. I mean, look, 0.5 3-pointers made. The dude either does it or he doesn't do it. There is no in between. It's not like, a 3-pointer made prop of 2.5 and he gets you 2. Like, there is no sweat with this one. As soon as he makes a shot, it's done. As soon as he makes a 3, it's done. So should be a very quick over on this one. Like, he either does it or he doesn't do it. Like, there is no hook on this one. Power forwards hitting 3s against the Jazz. They don't take a lot of 3s. I mean, Marcus Morris made 3, and then you got to go back a week before that. Kevin Love, and then Jeremy Sohan. Real quick. So Aaron Gordon is attempting roughly 1.7 threes over his last 10, but over his last 5, I mean, that's 4, 8, 12, 13 threes attempted in his last 5 games, which is a little more than 2. So he has the upside of 4 threes per game, attempts per game. And then over those games, 50%, 50%, 25%. So if Aaron Gordon's a 50% three-point shooter tonight, he hits this shit real fast. So I like that one. I think that one's pretty cool. Nice find on his three-pointers made. All right. Kawhi Leonard. Who'd I miss? Curry. We'll get Curry. Kawhi Leonard, steals and blocks. Darrell said he liked the over on this one, sitting at 2.5. I mean, this is another example of looking at his last 10 and saying that's shitty, then looking at his last 5 and saying, oh, look at that. He's starting to feel it. 4 out of his last 5 games, he's averaging 9, 20, 2. 22 steals and blocks over his last 5 games. Do the math. That's 4 point something. Even in these games, hook. He's right there. He's right there. Not a whole lot to dig into with steals and blocks, to be honest with you. They're super game dependent. But you do have the narrative here of Kawhi playing against his former team. Oh, I don't even know how you can be mad at Toronto. What they didn't offer. I think they offered him plenty of money. I think they even were going to let him be like prime minister for a month or some shit like that. He turned it all down to live in LA. And he won a ring. He got put on a national stage. He, got the ring on his own. Like, that's his team. I don't think there's any grudge against the Toronto Raptors, to be honest with you. But players still get up for the games against their former team. So maybe you want to put a little bit more into that. However, I'm seeing a lot of great things from his game logs alone. So I think this is steals and blocks are always risky. We all know that. As evident with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's lines, we took the over on a couple of his steals and blocks. Didn't work out for us, but we're getting enough information to make a good decision on taking the over on the steals and blocks. So all of these are risky. I don't give a damn what this information says. At the end of the day, these dudes got to still play. And if they don't play well, then we lose. So it's always a risk. Let's minimize the risk, though. I think this is a fine play on the over 2.5 steals and blocks. Last play, Curry, rebounds and assists. Check it out. Sitting at 10 over on Prizepicks. This one has been moved down to 10. Opened up at 10.5 on a lot of books, but 9.5 on Caesars, DraftKings, and BetMGM. So it either moved down. I think it moved up from 9.5 to 10. Maybe. Who cares? It's at 10 right now. At 10, he's gone over this in 1 game out of his last 10. We're looking for the under on this one, right? So 1 out of his last 10, 2 times he pushed this, 0 times he's gone over 10 in his last 5 games. Head-to-head matchup with the New Orleans. Damn, I almost said the New Orleans Grizzlies. Are Grizzly Bears indigenous to Louisiana? New Orleans Pelicans. 16 and 10. So 10 against his last game. 10 in his last game. 16 in his previous game. Projected for 9.86. So it looks like he's projected for right at 10, to be honest with you, if you want to round this up. So I think you're looking at heavy push potential here. I would love to see this one get bumped up to 10.5, where I would gladly take the under. If this one got bumped down to 9.5, I would, in a heartbeat, take the over 9.5. But at 10, I see the logic in taking the under. It's just a little bit more risky because of the push potential for Curry. So final 4 players. We like the over. John Collins, over. Aaron Gordon, under. Curry, over. Kawhi Leonard. That's going to round out these 4 plays. One last time, in case you wanted to tell this or just create a slip based off these plays. There you go. Clearing it out. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to do it for the live stream. We have covered a ton of plays in today's stream, hour and 30 minutes. Time flies. Time flies when we're talking player props here on the channel. Yeah. Thank y'all so much for being here. A couple of things to note. The rest of the live streams for the week, 8:25 a.m. I like starting a little early in the day. I would love to start earlier, to be honest with you. However, maybe you're not up early. And, number two, a lot of the value isn't on the board, and it's hard to like make a stream out of plays that aren't up yet. So 8:25 a.m. free player prop Discord. All that information link is in the stream description, as in all my partnership info. If you looking to sign up on additional player sites, all that information is in the stream. OddShopper, all that's in the stream. Consider subbing up to the channel if you made it this far. Truly appreciate your time. Hit that like button on your way out if you didn't hit it on your way in. Hit it twice on your way out if you absolutely don't like this content. Last but not least, no matter what player props you want to roll with, mine, your own, something you found on Twitter, I hope they all respect the damn coin. Jim, I will hit you up in the Discord. Thanks for sharing that Cash App. Appreciate you sharing the slips, and hope we're all profitable today. Until tomorrow's live stream, NBA live stream, player prop live stream, Chavez is out.